Hello, how are you guys doing today on the show? Firstly, I am back in Australia. America, I'm no longer with you. Goodbye. I will miss your liberty, your freedom, and your constitution. Not really. So long, suckers. Today on the show, we have the amazing Rose MATAFEO. Rose MATAFEO is killing it. She's huge in the UK. She is big in Australia. She's performing in a heritage listed carpet room. If you don't like comedy but you love heritage listed carpet, this is the show for you. You could just stare at the carpet all day. However, you'll be missing one of the best comedians of the current day. That sounded like I was talking about Aristotle. Aristotle, the best philosopher of the current day. Once again, I'm talking way too much. Go and see Rose MATAFEO's show. It's called HORNDOG. It's in the Melbourne Town Hall. Look for the room with a heritage listed carpet. This is the Ferg Neil Show.
Ought to know, don't worry because he will say hello for you. Here we go. It's the Ferg Neil Show.
I could never, having been in LA for 3 months, it kind of breaks you.
Were you in 3 months?
Yeah.
What?
I know, it kind of breaks you spiritually.
Yeah, it can. Some people really love it.
Yeah.
And some people kind of. The only times I've been to LA, I've kind of been not really into it.
Yeah. It's weird because it's it obviously doesn't have any of the beauty of New York or those kind of Houston or stuff.
Just flat.
It's flat and concrete and you don't see a tree for 4 days.
But then California is an amazing so it's just LA, isn't it?
Yeah. So I remember my last week there, I pretty much fled LA and caught the train up from Los Angeles to San Francisco for the redwoods on the beach. It was a lot like Julia Roberts' Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
This train is my spiritual Vespa.
Oh my god. Fucking hell. Yeah, I know. San Francisco is so nice.
San Francisco is amazing. Yeah.
So
have you done stand up in the States?
No, I never have.
How come?
Yeah, weird. I don't know. I've been there for just holidays and stuff. But I never have done any. It's just weird. I really want to, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know if I'm scared I'll do bad.
You've done amazingly in the UK. You do.
Yeah, I guess I just it's definitely the next step. I think.
Yeah. Guy was saying yesterday that in New York, people are crazy competitive with other comics, that they're kind of hoping for you to die on stage, which kind of happens as well.
It's just grim though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever. But competitive with other comics, maybe people you don't like, you want to see them fail. Yeah, who are really terrible people in real life, but you'd never wish that upon anyone you just thought was a nice person.
Yeah. I remember because obviously last night I saw your show and I loved it. It was so much fun. In a really interesting room, the heritage listed carpet. Is that the only room with the heritage listed carpet?
No, all of the town hall venues.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's no food and drinks in the venues. You can only drink them in the bars. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's kind of. I had the same thing last year as well, but there was no heritage carpet in that room that I was in the lunchroom. But it's weird.
Yeah.
It's all right though. It's kind of it does kind of set a weird precedent for the audience of feeling a bit less like it's a comedy, a rowdy comedy show.
More like a courtroom type thing.
Yeah, I know, where they can't drink water and stuff. It's before surgery or something.
Because we ordered red wine, my friend and I, who went literally 10 minutes before the show, and then we're about to come into the show. Yeah, essentially. And sculling wine is it brought me back to year 9 of high school, because I grew up in Torquay, which is an hour away near Bells Beach. Yeah. And it really flooded back memories of that.
Yeah.
And then also the show does detail a lot of your younger years as well. I kind of wanted to talk about how you first got into comedy. Yeah,
so I got into comedy when I was 15 years old.
Which is insane.
Yeah, it's just too young.
What did you talk about?
Well, that's the thing is that so now finally, I'm 26 now, so I feel like I have enough hindsight to speak on things that were 10 years ago.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, to speak. That's why I kind of, and I feel weird talking about stuff I'm an adult woman now. Why am I talking about my teenage years? But it's because I think everyone looks to the past or for material and stuff. So obviously when I was 15, I had no life experience to base anything on.
That tree I climbed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Genuinely, I had jokes about friggin' Denny's and Sesame Street and the Seven Dwarfs, the Snow White and stuff. It was just so it was all just completely observational but abstract observational because I had no life experience to make observations about.
Yeah.
So but then because it was similar program as they have at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, which is the Class Clowns thing.
Yeah.
So I did Class Comedians in New Zealand and and then decided doing open mic nights, and then just kept doing comedy throughout my high school years.
Because you won the Class Clowns and won the Billy T, so you kind of went for the festival. The only other person we've had on the podcast who's kind of done that same like trajectory, Tom Balla won Class Clowns and then won something else and kind of just like was fostered by the festival and protected by the wings of it.
Pretty much.
And now he's doing his own show like tonight, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The show features some karaoke. I don't want to give all too much away. Can you talk about your karaoke parts? Because I'm interested in that. And like I'm not as familiar with K-pop as maybe I should be.
Oh yeah.
How did you? Maybe I guess they're two separate questions, but they kind of tie into one another. K-pop and karaoke.
So yeah, the karaoke things are kind of like it's just me. Kind of, I think it kind of was rooted in the observation about myself. I think that I naturally am kind of maybe in real life more like a quite down, more reserved, definitely not an alpha person. Yeah. But then as a non-alpha person to do stand-up is kind of an interesting thing because
for sure,
it's very much like a standing up on stage being like, these are my opinions and listen to me right now. I am important and you guys should like think I'm wise. Like it's just those things that kind of butt up against each other. And so karaoke is like a good example of like, quite a showy thing, but like trying to act humble in that moment. I love the very specific tension of a karaoke night in the sense that like, it's so funny because you think the idea of karaoke is much more fun than the actual reality of karaoke.
I would agree with the sentiments.
Completely, because it's like it's just a very tense situation where you're making your friends sit down. It's almost like stand up, right? It's like you're making your friends sit down and watch you sing, and it's supposed to be like chill and your friends like hanging out, but there are moments where like they're not paying attention to you, and you're like, I'm pouring my heart out right now. Like, what are you doing?
And you want them to kind of say, oh, like, I didn't know you were so talented at singing and, like, music, and, like, you try and, like, you did the great, we try and be shy, and then, like, you belt it out, because you've been practicing for, like, 3 weeks beforehand.
Absolutely. And you get nervous because you're like, I have to be the best. Like, I'm quite competitive as well, but, like, but I try not to, like pretend to be I'm not that.
Yeah.
So, if I'm not the best, like, if people aren't going, wow, you should be a professional singer, by the end of karaoke, I'm like, I failed somehow.
I'm so surprised about how great at singing you are and how great at dancing you are. Like, I wasn't expecting those kind of, because obviously, like, to be like a comedian, you're kind of working up for the clubs, kind of doing that thing. But then, like, so when are you practicing dancing and singing in between stand-up sets? Like,
literally, that's exactly it. Like, because I think that's what the show's about, is, like, I really do put energy into the wrong things. Like, I didn't finish my university degree. I, spent hours learning, K-pop dances or Michael Jackson, your songs, or, like, I do obsess over the wrong things. And I just think, that's what I do, though. I just sit in my room. And I don't think I perform I don't think I've ever been someone who was like, look at me do a dance, like in my family or anything. Yeah. I'm the person who kind of like shuts my door and kind of
dances alone.
Yeah, like meticulously like rehearses something and dances alone. So it's just it's the weird thing of like, and I think it all comes back down to the kind of thing of like, why am I doing stand-up?
I wanted to ask you about that because you describe yourself like as introverted, extroverted, introvert. Yeah. So how does that, because like watching you on stage, and I've obviously seen you perform stand-up before, and I have seen you on, I was at a show you were on with David Mitchell.
Oh,
I remember I love David Mitchell. So,
Me too, I was freaked out, man. I was so freaked out because, like, I genuinely had, like, I loved him since I was, like, 13. I was obsessed with him. Looking him in the eye, him looking me in the eye and speaking directly to me in that context. Part of me just was like, this is wrong.
It's weird seeing your, like, idols in person. Because we had, I interviewed, Orny Adams, who was on that documentary of Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
So I had this crazy thing where I asked him if he'd like to come on the podcast, sent it to he's coming to Australia. He said, yeah, sure. Couldn't come to the studio where we're in Eagle Rock. So I said, okay, I'll come to the Hollywood Improv where he's performing. Yes. So we're in the green room behind the Hollywood Improv, and Judd Apatow and Jeff Garlin were on that night. So I met Judd Apatow, and it was kind of like a similar thing. I was like, holy shit, like, this is Judd Apatow. Yeah. But then also, like, you shake his hand, and then you kind of realize, oh, like, he's probably fundamentally flawed like me as well. Yeah. I mean, fame is really a relative thing. Yeah. It kind of melts away once we're in person, but like watching David Mitchell on Would I Lie to You, he would seem like a demigod, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's hard. It's I mean, I always actually, To be honest, for me, when I meet people who are like, I've idolized and I very much idolize and obsess over celebrities because I'm 26, living in 2019. What are you gonna do? But I always obsess over how tall they are.
Okay.
I used to have a height chart in my school diary of all my favorite celebrities and their heights and their difference in heights to me.
Okay, because you can't usually tell people's heights on the TV.
No, you can't, and sometimes they lie about it. Okay. So, but David Mitchell, surprisingly tall.
Okay. Yeah. Apparently Conan's surprisingly tall.
Oh yeah, he's very tall.
Yeah.
Hugh Bonneville was very tall because I did a show with him in the UK last year. Last year. And he's really tall. Yeah. You wouldn't expect it.
Okay. Yeah. When you went to the UK, what was the decision making behind that? Like, were you kind of like wanting to break into that piece?
Yeah. New Zealand's obviously an amazing place to live and an amazing place to start comedy and stuff. But it is sort of hard to make a living from doing. You got to hustle and do a lot of different things. Yeah. And in the UK, I thought I wanted to get better maybe at a stand-up, there's less and less gigs, I think, and more so now, I guess, in New Zealand, but it's even different to Australia, there are a lot more places you can go see gigs in Australia, and there are even more in the UK and in London, where it's like, you can gig way more in a week than you can possibly gig in New Zealand, and so I think that was a good thing for me just to step up my stand-up performing because I think I'd worked in TV for a long time and comedy TV and I kind of I get really nervous if I go big bouts of time not doing stand-up. I realize I get so anxious about it that I don't like doing it. But I need to have the ability to do it more often and more consistently so I can get over that. Yeah. And London and the UK was a great opportunity. And also just to see and cool my favourite performers that I'd gone over to Edinburgh and I'd seen, these kind of amazing shows and amazing performers, and I think, it just inspires you to do more with your stuff, I think, when you're surrounded by that. But then I say that but I go back to New Zealand and it's like I'm shocked at the talent per capita,
Even New Zealand as a country has an amazing per capita, Lord is a huge one. Russell Crowe, we try and claim him. Flight of the Conchords.
Taika Waititi, all of these guys,
It's an amazing...
It is. It's like a hot... Everyone's like a hot house of... talent, but it is. It's kind of like the isolation. It's like just a bunch of people on, a Pacific island at the bottom of the world, and there's just an incredible amount of talent. I think it is that isolation, or you're able to do your own thing, and there's less kind of almost competition.
Yeah, sure,
because there are possibly less opportunities to make money from it. So it is genuinely creative output because you're just doing it for you. So
but
I'm lucky.
It's not the cliche that all New Zealanders in that kind of category know each other, because I met some Kiwis in America who said that they were adamant that they knew Lord and they'd been on an aeroplane with her, but I don't think that's equivalent to me,
been on an aeroplane.
It's not,
I'd been to a comedy show where she was in the audience.
Wow.
She was there with my friend.
Yeah.
That was basically the
okay. That's the end of the
Yeah, that's the extent of my Lord knowledge.
Yeah. And,
She followed me on Twitter for a very short time before she was famous, and then she unfollowed, which to be honest, I absolutely respect her for, because mine are all just trashy retweets of come to my gig this Monday in London. It's
How did you know she unfollowed you? Did you just
hell yeah. I think she tweeted me once, and I was like, oh cool, yeah.
That's pretty
Got
cool.
famous.
Yeah.
Got cut, and I'm like, that's how you do it. Famous people are psychopaths, they've got to cull, they've got to.
Yeah.
I listened to this podcast once about make A-list celebrities and the lengths at which you have to go to be an A-list celebrity, A-list celebrity, and that you have to only associate with people who are A-list as well, or else you're B-list, baby. Yeah. You apparently can't hang out in Vegas.
Yeah, okay.
A celebrity hanging out in Vegas, it depreciates your kind of
really?
stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
You shouldn't be photographed. The places you should be photographed are London, New York, and Japan, Tokyo maybe.
Okay, yeah.
It just made me really depressed about all of the celebrities that I idolize.
Yeah, celebrity is a weird culture though. It's like Lena Dunham said, her dad said celebrity is the product of a broken culture. And which is an awesome, like if I had that quote, I'd put that on every single thing I ever owned.
Print that on a t-shirt, man. Sell that as merch after your show. So these people are like, oh my God, I love your show so much. But remember, celebrity is a sickness. Yeah. That's true.
You've spoken about sometimes not enjoying stand-up comedy and being very nervous before your gigs. Is that still occurring now, even though you've done it for, like, before last night's show, were you like, oh God.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this year, because I always, in Melbourne, I always do a new show. So this show is the only, like, you know, you would have seen it, like, maybe the 6th time I've ever done it.
Wow.
And so I wrote it, like, literally just before I came here. Like, probably, no. Actually, on the plane here, I like kind of finished writing it, and I'm reading it every day, which is very nerve-wracking because, you know, it's like I just come at it. I come at stand up with the wrong attitude, and it's a real bad thing for me. And I think I just need to change it in the sense that like I come at it as every night. I think I said this to my friends the other day. Like every day I do stand up or do a show is my motivation is redemption to do better than what I did before.
Okay, that's
and I think other people like see it as an opportunity like to do well. And I always see like the potential of performing as an opportunity to fail. And it's just like a complete like terrible mindset to like, and I need to change it, but I'm naturally quite a negative person and I always think about the worst case scenarios of things. And I honestly need to flip it because I was thinking the other day, it's that thing of like, you know, you're going to look back on your 20s and be like, why did I freak out so much? Like, that's, you had such an amazing life. Like, I'm so lucky to do stand-up and be able to perform places and go overseas and you know, be in London and in Melbourne and stuff. And I'm such a little bitch about it. You know, I've been like, oh, I'm nervous before I show. Oh, I wonder if they like me. But so I think it's just something I need to get over. But I think maybe it's improving. It's an interesting parallel between because when you're on stage, like you definitely own the stage and you have so much confidence, and like even like I was talking like on the way up, like when you deliver a joke and like perhaps you didn't think it worked, but then everybody laughs. You know what I mean? Like it's an interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting. I think it's a real. It's just confidence on stage. Like I think there are comedians who can really hold a room where it's like, and it's like I'm not a really storytelling comedian. So I think people who tell stories kind of can or longer routines can kind of ride the energy of a room a bit more. But I go a bit more like a bit like frenzied on stage where it's like if there's no laughter in the room, like if there's not a joke, it's like not joke. It freaks me out a little bit. And so and it's I mean something like even like someone like Reese Nicholson, where like I look up to so much, and it's like he's so incredible because he is such an amazing performer, an amazing joke writer, and everything is funny, and it's like I find that incredible, like that confidence, and he doesn't back down, and I want to improve that in my own stand up as well, where it's like it's just like it doesn't stop, and in an hour show it's so hard to avoid that lull as well. And riding the energy of that is so hard. Like often like in a stand-up show, like 35 minutes in, the audience is starting to almost get too comfortable because there is like a level of tension in the air before a stand-up show where people are like, oh God, I hope this is funny, and like you do like the bit where like the comedian with a microphone saying close. Absolutely. And it's just like because I don't know you like I remember this quote from an interview and a quote you said like you wouldn't want to do stand-up comedy forever. Forever, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, and I want to say like it's hard because I think there's some stand-ups who are like, nah, pure stand-up for life. You don't want to do stand-up for the rest of your life. You shouldn't be here, you know. And I think it's, I completely, I mean, it's just a personal thing. It's stand-up is so incredible. It's an amazing medium of comedy. And I think if you, like, you have to be so committed to it, though, to be in it for, like, a long time. Okay. And you've got to have constant. And I only say that because I think, you know, I think there are people who have lifelong stand-up careers who are incredible, and I think just personally for me it's like I don't know if I could the way in which I approach stand-up, which is to have a lot of anxiety before it and stuff. I don't think it's just not a sustainable thing for me. I think I always will want to perform like live, and I always think whenever I do anything else, I go, oh man, I want to do stand up again. But I think it's more just like it's an open to a lot of other things, I think, which I'd love to do, which is obviously like TV stuff and you know, make more stuff. I think I like making stuff. And whatever form that happens, you know.
So would you like say like the stand up lifestyle, and this has kind of been like a running theme for comedians we interview, was like conducive to like that kind of like happiness? Like I know everyone wants like tears of a clown. But, is it kind of like, would you say like it is conducive to happiness? Because like I find like a lot of comedians do get that. Like it's like before the gig, it's like, why am I doing this? And Russell Brand talks about like just before a gig, he almost feels like numb because like the energy is so high, so his body almost like hibernates. Yeah. But like, have you found it like from obviously being in stand up since you were 15, so it's kind of like I guess like in a way like all you know of I guess like it's your whole adult life is consisted of that. Yeah. Like have you found it like conducive to happiness, or has it?
No, well, it's just a hard thing. It's just like it's a really unnatural work experience. Sure. It's like it's one where you don't get good sleep patterns. You have to be up late at night, and you have to go to bed early. You have to go to bed late, and you wake up early, which is bad for your body. It's like it's incredibly like it's a constant rush of adrenaline, and then it come down from that, which is like it's like a spike of adrenaline, which is. Or, you know, it's a spike of stress every time you know, depending on what kind of performer you are. Yeah. But then obviously, like, if you're doing, but then on the flip side, it's like you're doing something you love. You can, you're writing comedy and performing it for people, and if you can make a living out of it, it's incredible. So it's so hard. I think it's like, I think for me now, it's like I am trying to minimize the weird kind of side effects of the lifestyle, like you know, just taking care, like trying to take care of yourself in ways in which you feel like a bit of a wimp, you know, and other ways you're, you know, because it's like it's you when you kind of rationalize it, you're like it's 1 hour, even less than 1 hour of my day where I have to do work, but it is genuinely, it takes up so much space around it mentally, like, you know, it's like I'm always thinking about the show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. From the moment I wake up to the moment I do it, and then even after, I'm going, okay, I've got to do this tomorrow, you know, and going, okay, how much energy do I have? Yeah. How many tickets have I sold? Yeah. Have I got all of the tech done? Have I, you know, if I got that order memorized? Yeah. And it's just this, it's like, and when I do Edinburgh now, it's like I've kind of tried to make a rule that I can't even think about the show before, like, you know, 3 hours before it. Yeah. Because it's just, then it just like consumes you a bit, I think.
Have you seen that Hannibal Buress documentary where he goes to Edinburgh? Oh, it's so
good. I haven't seen it. I can't believe I haven't seen it. You would
love it. Yeah. It's so good. And it talks about the kind of like endurance race you have to do through the festival. Yeah. Like day 15, he's like, fuck this, I want to go home and stuff. Like, how do you find getting through a festival? Because also I've noticed in America, everyone's trying to build their 5 minutes for like the Tonight Show, like late night and stuff like that. Whereas like in the UK, Australia, and I'm sure New Zealand, it's more about crafting that hour and taking it to festivals. So like when you're going through a festival, like what kind of, what's the mentality from like night 1 to night like 27 or something?
Yeah, it's not like, it's such a marathon, and I'm genuinely like, I feel like I can't do it next year because I'm like, it's been 3 years, you know. Well, actually not even 3 years, 4 years doing these festivals. Actually, no, even longer than that, but 4 years on the trot, like doing the whole run. Yeah. And 3, you know, my 3rd solo show at these kind of things. And it is a marathon effort, and like you're lucky to be here in a beautiful city, and you don't have to get up too much during the day, and you know, it's all that stuff. But then you've got all this other stuff that you're having to do, you know, having to rewrite the show every night. And it is just a stamina thing, and it's a Groundhog Day situation as well. Sure, you're going to the same place, the same time, and then it's just like very, very small differences in how you deliver something, or how you forget something, or do something in the wrong order can completely impact it, and you know, the outcome of, you know, the show and how they enjoy it. And so it's it does turn you a little bit loopy. Okay. But it does, and it's just like, I think, the way in which I don't know how I deal with it. I think I need to like, clean my room, write a list of things I'm fortunate for, get out in the sun, have nice food, and just, because I always look back on these festivals going, wow, what a great time. Yeah. But then I always look back on it forgetting that, especially in Melbourne, I come here with a new show, and I have to basically like from what it is from the first night is completely different to what it is at the end.
Okay.
And it's just like, it is just feels like a completely every day. You're like just being kind of tested and doing new material every night. And it's just like, yeah.
Does affirmation, like you got a great review recently in the Herald Sun, and we talked to Arj Barker said this kind of blew my mind. Like I saw it at his show and I asked him about it on the podcast. He said like his happiness levels as he was coming up were the exact same as when he made it. It's like kind of like fame won't fill the void type thing. But like, did you find that like when you, because obviously like you're doing amazingly well, but like when you first started, I guess like I imagine, I guess 15, it's we all know from mic surfing. Like, I can't imagine seeing a 15-year-old in those RSLs.
Oh yeah, I had braces and curly hair, and like it was very, very not great to watch.
What did your parents say when you wanted, like, you're 15, like, Mum, Dad, I want to be a comedian?
No, absolutely fine. I mean, I didn't even say I didn't want to be a comedian. It was almost like a hobby, and it was a free hobby, extracurricular hobby, so they were all for it. You know, my mum was very supportive. She'd drop me off at gigs and pick me up again.
Wow.
And then I started working as like a bar back in the comedy club and stuff. So it's they were fine with it. They were very do whatever you want kind of parents. And I was quite independent in that I sort out, like, if I wanted to do something, I kind of, you know, decided to do it. But no, they were okay with it. And I think, you know, it's what I said about, like, you know, that not changing, I think it shouldn't, because, I mean, none of that means anything. You know, like, none of it really, like, even if people are, like, enjoying what you're doing, the only thing is that it gets easier to... I think it gets easier to develop your kind of comedic voice, and you can do it faster when people who are coming to your shows aren't. You're not up against people who aren't on board. You know what I mean? So every year I come here, the more and more people come to me who have maybe seen me before or just know what they're up, like, you know, what they're in for. Yeah. And it makes it easier to, you know, develop your comedy, because you're like, oh yeah, people enjoy this, and you feel confidence in your material. And so I think that's something that, you know, I guess maybe a bit more notoriety of, like, being, you know, that kind of comedian can bring. But no, it doesn't change, you know, a thing. You should always be hard on yourself and trying to improve yourself. I'm hard to myself to the point of
self-destruction.
Yeah, self-destruction. Yeah, like I'm hard on myself to the point of, like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. Just chill out. Yeah. But I think you've always got to be constantly striving to be better in comedy, because I think the moment that you stop or get maybe comfortable is the moment you kind of become a little bit, you know, out of touch with stuff. Yeah, it would be funny if, like, as soon as someone makes it, they become really pretentious. Like, and that wouldn't work on stage, I don't think. Like, because comedy's such, like, I don't know, I guess, like, people like Amy Schumer do that really well, and they're kind of pretentious, like, I've made it type thing. But often, like, if I see a comedian on stage and they're acting, like, really arrogant, it's like, oh, like, you know, I kind of hope this person, doesn't get laughs. Yeah, I just think it's the difference between, like, but then also, like, Sarah Silverman can do that. But then she does it in such she's such a way that doesn't come across, it's just such a character almost, you know? It's hard in deciding whether or not you're going to be yourself or you're going to be some sort of character on stage, or, like, you know, or not reveal, like, things about yourself. Yeah, sure, do you find, like, there's a difference between your performative self and, like, your regular day-to-day self? Like, because I know a lot of comedians, like, kind of strive to bring those two together, but it seems like you're kind of striving to bring those two apart. Like, no, I think I'm so nervous. So I would always get so nervous on... my nerves would come out as, like, quite, you know, frenzied energy. Yeah. So, like, I'm way more energetic on stage than I ever am in real life. I'm the least energetic person. Yeah. I'm a slow Loris. I am, like, a little sloth. I am, but also I'm Eeyore, because I'm always down about stuff. I'm such a negative person. And it's like, but then on stage, I think my ability, my I guess to cope with, like, you know, that situation is, like, to go full 100% energy, and so it's hard. But I do talk about things that actually happen. You know, I described my comedy the other day. I did a tweet. I was saying I describe it as Piscean, because I'm a Pisces, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like a sensitive gal talking about her opinions on stage, being overconfident to compensate for her lack of confidence.
It's weird because I was talking to a guy about this yesterday. Americans have the opposite of Australians and New Zealanders in that their confidence is
so
crazy.
confident.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like, but it's off stage even more so than on stage.
Yeah.
Like often, like you'll meet someone's like, "Oh, do you comment?" Like, yeah, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." You know what I mean? Like they won't really kind of build it.
It blows my mind.
Everybody's asking for everybody's Instagram at places. Like you'll meet people like, "Can I have your Instagram?" That's a very weird thing to say, isn't it? I
So
don't
weird.
know,
Oh,
is it?
networking. Like networking
is
is the worst. I hate seeing it. I hate it happening to me. I hate trying to do it.
It feels quite gross.
It feels gross,
Yeah.
and it's just like and it's hard though because then you realize that the people who get places
Yeah,
are the
often
people
have
who
a
do
network.
that.
Yeah,
they do. They're on their hustle and networking and stuff, and then you're like, damn, I can't do that. Like from at the end of my life, I'm never gonna say I wish I networked more. You know, like I'm like
would be a great tombstone. Though.
I know. She wished she had networked a bit more. She wished she had printed up some business cards, got a stronger Instagram following. So sad.
How have you found, because you kind of like burst onto the scene in Australia, obviously being on shows like Have You Been Paying Attention and Squinters.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like a direct intention with, okay, I'm going to make it in Australia? Or was it kind of like, it just kind of happened? And we talked like you worked with Adam Zwar recently, who we've had on the show not too long ago.
Yes.
Like how did you find those experiences?
Really cool. I mean, like they were really out of the blue. So like
Okay.
I was here for Have You Been Paying Attention? They came to my show in Melbourne last year, and they were like, yeah, cool, like let's chuck you on. And they're so nice, and it's it's the nicest panel show I've ever been on.
Yeah.
So chill, so
Working
fun.
Dog Productions is amazing.
So
as well.
good.
So cool.
They're like so lovely, and like it's just genuinely, and also I always find it nice because the competitive streak comes out of me and Have You Been Paying Attention, where it's like I can just answer the correct answer.
Yeah.
And with Squinters, that happened because I came over here to do some gigs in Sydney, and then they it's an audition kind of request came through, and Susie was signed on already, and then we just did. I was like, oh yeah, cool, I'll come in for an audition, and then they came and saw my show, and and it was like a real fluke, and then I flew back to New Zealand, flew back to here for 2 days. We've shot it in 2 days.
Wow.
So we had a rehearsal day.
I didn't say that.
Oh yeah.
You said it's working, you guys.
Yeah, no, we shot ours in 2 days, and that was obviously
Wow.
a lot to do with my schedule as well, because I had to go back to shoot Funny Girls in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So we knocked it out, and I think it's quite incredible and good doing it that way though, because there was consistency over these characters that we had to do.
Yeah.
And it was almost like doing a play. It was like it's really interesting, but we're just stuck in a car for a couple of days, and it was great. Obviously, being with Susie was fun, but no, it was no intention to go like gonna break it in Australia, because I just no. But I'm very happy to come here because and in Australia to make some amazing comedy as well, like the television. They're very very I think. They just put money and put effort into like some really amazing kind of shows, and like shows I think maybe perhaps wouldn't get made yet in kind of New Zealand. Just need more money, I guess.
A great example of that is like Please Like Me of Josh Thomas.
Yes.
So that started on ABC2, and then like a year later was nominated for like an international Emmy.
I know.
And I kind of seen that being made on like Channel 10. No disrespect to those channels, I just feel like they probably wouldn't invest in that kind of, because it was a niche idea at the start, and then those things become huge.
It's so amazing. And then now the fact with the idea that you can sell stuff to Netflix, and people can watch your show anywhere, and it's like so many people in the UK watch Please Like Me, and
it's weird. It's interesting. When I was talking to Roger Avery, I think he's against a lot of those directors are like a little bit against Netflix, because obviously he worked at the Video Archive store in Manhattan Beach, Quinton, and like they had these things where like. And I kind of agree with it. You do feel more invested, like when I haven't been to a video shop for a long time, when you went into a video shop and like you get it, it's more invested than just like literally like clicking and scrolling through Netflix.
I completely agree. I remember that. Like I was a bit of my show of like talking about I would always go to our Video Easy. It was called Video Easy, and I'd always I'd only get out films though that I wasn't embarrassed to get out with the people who worked there. Like I was very wary, because there was always this one guy who was cool. He had an earring. He was an older guy, white hair, had an earring, and I always like specifically like got out very cool older films, classic films, until one day I had to, the search computer was broken, and I had to go up and ask if they had Austin Powers 2: The Spy Who Shagged Me. I was like, excuse me. But yeah, there is a sadness there, and also like films being made and then like by studios and you just like pound off like Annihilation, you know?
Yeah.
Have you seen Annihilation yet?
Oh, I thought you meant like it wasn't Annihilation.
No. Annihilation with Natalie Portman and stuff.
Okay.
That the latest James Garland film.
Okay.
They made it. They were like, I think the studios were like, it's too weird.
Same
and they
thing
just
happened
sold
with
it.
Tim Minchin. He was in Los Angeles for like 4 years of his life making this like Australian outback animation. Got the studio got bought. They're like, we're not making this anymore. Like they didn't tell him and stuff. He read it in the newspaper, which would have been brutal.
Oh my god.
So I think it's a weird kind of like business creative thing where I don't think business really cares sometimes.
It's like this. It's basically like flooding the market. It's like the more options you have, the less focus you can have on what's good.
Sure, yeah.
And like I definitely do agree with that. I think though like things like I think it's hard because there's two sides to it, because I think the more you open it up and I guess democratize kind of like content, it means that you're opened up to a whole different world of content. Like on Netflix I watched like my favorite show is like this Korean sitcom thing where they make food at the end of it. It's like I would never have seen that had I not had the ability to watch that online.
Yeah. You wouldn't have taken that to the guy working at Video Easy.
Exactly.
I'd
I'd have been like, what is this, right? So there's a flip side to it, but I do find that like I think my brain is sludge now. Like I think I can hardly watch a film now. Like,
see, I just ditch films sometimes 5 minutes in. It's really bad.
It's really
like,
bad.
I've got to it's almost turning into like
my attention span is so poor. It's just sickening. It's sickening. I think there's gonna be some sort of like. There has to be some sort of like, they're going to be coaches. They're going to be like wellness coaches, but for like social media, internet wellness. Because I know like, I genuinely, I say in my show, like I haven't read a book in so long. I have not read a book in so long.
Yeah.
How disgusting is that? This isn't a podcast now, you know? Like, it's so bad.
See, in America, they found a solution, and they've just come out ironically with a new Netflix documentary about it. Adderall is insanely big in America.
Is it?
It's a concentration like drug, which like you can get recommended for a doctor. The doctor will give you anything.
Yeah.
And like you're concentrated for like an hour, and then like it's kind of like you feel buzzed.
Yeah.
So like people say I passed like calculus through like Adderall. Like it's a really weird pharmaceutical culture in America that we don't have.
That's so messed up.
I don't really want to end the show on that note.
I know, I was just like, oh my god.
It's so messed up, fade to black.
Do I need Adderall? Oh my god, no. I can't believe it.
The outro music kicks in.
No. It cannot be the end. No, I think genuinely, I think it'll be okay. I think we're gonna, I reckon it's the pendulum swing of all that stuff where it's like, it's just over, flooding the market with all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then it's going to kind of come back to, because it also, I think it's a privileged, position to be in as like Quentin Tarantino, Roger Avery. Yeah. They work at these video stores, but there's gatekeepers to that. And like often, I mean, did you read, actually, this was on Twitter recently, like all of the how Vulture compiled like a list of 50 descriptions of female characters in screenplays. Okay. And oh my god, Quentin Tarantino's one for Death Proof. Oh. Okay, yeah. So bad. Like one of those, like her big ass hangs out of her shorts, and then after big ass, it in brackets says a good thing.
That was in the dialogue.
This is in the big print. So like describing the characters. Yeah. So in a way, I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like, sad video stores, but also I'm like, if you couldn't, you're a creep.
And you talked about it last time. There are like the directors, like they have like a lot of similarities with psychopaths.
Yes.
Like Hitchcock had like a weird thing, like Hitchcock's Blondes, where he had like all these blonde women around him all the time.
Harassed Tippi Hedren. Like he absolutely Tippi Hedren was like had to put up with so much terrible, awful stuff from him. He was disgusting, and he was I love her Hitchcock films, and he was just horrible to us. He like terrorized Joan Fontaine and Rebecca because he was like, oh, get a performance I want out of her, and it's like she's an actress. She's an actor. She can pretend to be. Yeah. That's why you hired her. So
the craziest interview, and definitely my favorite one I've done in a long time. Caroline Hellman, she's on CNN, worked on Fox News for a while. Yeah. She brought down Bill O'Reilly. She brought down like the biggest motherfucker in the world. She was like one of the people who like outed his behavior. I think like I would die so happy knowing that I brought Bill O'Reilly down.
God, he's an awful man.
Adderall and sexual assault.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, I know. Are we in on Bill O'Reilly? Great. Come to my show. Hear all about it. so bad.
Okay, how about I don't know we can finish off. Your dancing capabilities, and I don't want to give too much to it, like, it's phenomenal, like, it's
thank
incredible. And again, I know we talked about, like, you practice by yourself in your room and that
Yeah.
type of thing. But, like, why I don't know too many comics who will often, like, incorporate, like, often, like, it's straight stand-up, but you seem to have more of, like, I don't know, it's like the variety, like, the right
Yeah.
word, like, that type of thing, like...
I think it's always because I hadn't had confidence in that of just talking on stage
Okay,
for an
yeah,
hour,
yeah.
and I always think that there's more fun. Like, I feel like it's more fun for me to do little bits, and I think it's fun as an audience to watch that. Like, when I go see a show, I really enjoy seeing those bits, you know?
Okay, yeah,
Because it kind of shocks you out of... Like, an hour, first of all, is too long for a comedy show.
Okay, that's interesting.
A comedy show should not be an hour long. It should be 35 minutes at the most.
Okay.
Like, I'd pay to see less comedy in most situations. But, you know, I think it's just more fun. Like, I think, you know, those are the things I find fun and funny, and I like putting effort. I like when I see stuff where I've seen people put effort into something. Like, I know you put effort into stand-up and crafting a show and stuff, but when I see people who have put, just, you know, you can see the labor and time.
Yeah.
They put effort into doing something so stupid and so silly. I really enjoy that. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
Dance, love, Liam.
Dance.
Rose MATAFEO, your show HORNDOG. You can buy tickets at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. You're in a room with heritage listed carpet,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
See comedy, there's not too many opportunities you'll see
Come
comedy.
just for the carpet.
Yeah, can you imagine
Yeah.
people with carpet fans get down,
Take
have a
a
fun
photo.
time. Thanks for listening to the show. I believe we have Matt Okine coming in on Monday, so stay tuned for that.
Some people you ought to know. Don't worry because he will say hello for you. Here we